What's going on, guys? Aldrin Nastasio here with FlytPath.com. Now, this is a little bit different of a video because I'm not going to be talking about drones. Well, I'm actually going to be talking about drones a little bit towards the end of the video about using this thing on a drone. But this is a little bit different because we're talking about 360 cameras, and as you guys know, I'm not a 360 camera channel. However, I've had the Insta360 One for a while now, and I do use it a lot for my behind-the-scenes footage. So I was excited to get my hands on the Insta360 OneX. And in this video, I'm not going to be doing a bunch of side-by-side comparisons, trying to compare this with any other 360 camera. There's going to be a ton of reviewers out there that are going to be able to go into a lot of detail trying to compare these out there with, the Rylos and the GoPro Fusion and things like that. For me, I just want to talk to you about some of the features I like about the new 360 OneX and how I'm able to possibly use this in my future workflows. Now, I'm not going to go through every single spec as far as what the camera can and can't do, but I do want to go through some of the cool features of the new Insta360 OneX that I feel like I might be able to use and I think you guys might be able to benefit from as well. Now, as you guys know, of course, when I get some new products, I'm going to do an unboxing, so stick around for that. If not, I'm also going to leave time codes down below, so you're able to jump around and see if there's any features or any parts of the video that you really want to see. Feel free to check those out. But first and foremost, let's do a quick unboxing. Here it is, guys, the updated packaging for the new Insta360 OneX action cam. On the front here, it has a couple icons that just show you some of the features that this camera does offer. 5K at 30 frames a second. It has 18 megapixel photos as well as an updated flow state stabilization. On the side here, more features talking about the 360 capture, invisible stick, flow state stabilization. So if you guys aren't familiar with the Insta360 camera in general, especially if you're talking about version 1, they're one of the ones that really marketed the fact that when they do shoot video, you're able to do what's called an invisible stick. And it's just the way that the cameras are positioned that it almost looks like you're not holding anything. So you're just you just see your hand kind of sticking out there, which is really cool. So that's one of the good things as far as their marketing goes. They've been marketing this thing called invisible selfie stick. So this, of course, will be doing the exact same thing. Updated bullet time as well as speeds on transferring. On the side here, it just says what's included in the bag. So it's looking like it has a bullet time accessory, protective pouch, battery, charging cables, quick start guide, warranty card, accessory list. Let's open it up, make sure it's all in there and see exactly what all the accessories and all the things that come with it. So here at the bottom, we have what looks like a picture of a battery as well as the bullet time accessory, battery. Little fishing wire, and has a 1/4-20 thread here at the bottom, which is going to be to attach to the bottom of your Insta360 OneX. And here it is, guys, the new Insta360 OneX. As you can see, it's a little bit wider, but it is a little bit thinner than the original 360 One. At the very bottom here, it looks like we have the 1/4-20, so you're able to put that onto your accessories, as well as it looks like that is the SD card slot area. On one side of the camera, we have an indicator, a little light indicator right here, and of course, one lens. On the side, we have the battery compartment, so just click and open this up, and there is your battery compartment right there. And on the other side, of course, we have the other camera. On the other side, we have a micro SD port. More likely, this is going to be for charging as well as for software updates. Cable, so we have the micro USB cable to USB. This, like I said, is going to be more likely for charging as well as for software updates. Here is the protective pouch, which looks really cool. Oh, here you go. So it's a little wetsuit material style pouch. This is a little bit different. On the original, what they did is they gave you the kind of a plastic tabletop holder, which I thought was really cool because you're able to then stand this up. So I'm not sure how you're able to do that with this one at this point, but I thought this was really cool because it was more like a stand and not just a cover. House your camera in just like that, and then it has a little lanyard here, so throw it around your neck, hook it up to your bag or something like that. And we have, of course, all the paperwork that everyone loves. Insta360 quick start guide, what's included in the box, paperwork, and we also have the capturing bullet time with the Insta360 OneX documentation here, just kind of showing you some tips on what to do and what not to do. All right, so here's what everything comes with. It's a camera, of course. We have the carrying case, which is a little bit different than the original. We have the 360 bullet time wire and 1/4-20 battery. Multiple wires here to connect it to your laptop, your computer, your phones, as well as for charging, and of course all the paperwork, stickers, what's included, quick start guide, as well as the capturing bullet time tutorial. Now, along with the stuff that's in the box, I also have a few other accessories here. The first one we have is the Insta360 selfie stick, and the other one here is the bullet time handle, which attaches to the selfie stick. Let's open this up, see exactly how it all fits together. And here is the Insta360 Selfie stick. Has a nice little rubber handle here at the bottom. And of course, at the very bottom, we have the 1/4 thread. I'm assuming that's going to be for the bullet time handle. And let's open up this bullet time handle, see how this thing works. Now, here's the stick. And all you have to do is with the 1/4 at the bottom, screw this on just like that. Instead of using that fishing string and fishing line, you can use something like this where you're able to just swing this around. And to attach the camera to the selfie stick, all you have to do is the 1/4 here at the very bottom, hook those up together. And now you have a secured camera while you're spinning it around. Now, as you guys know, I've actually had the Insta360 One for a while now, but they've actually made a bunch of updates as far as the controls on the camera itself. So one of the big drawbacks with this camera was you weren't able to see exactly what your resolution was, what your frame rate you were shooting at, until you plugged it into your phone. But what they've done now with the new Insta360 OneX is they've actually added a screen here to let you know exactly what resolution you're shooting at. You're able to go through a menu system now and make all these changes on the fly without having to plug this into your phone. I don't want to think about it. I just want to know that if I press a button or two, it'll record, and I can quickly be able to look down and see exactly what I'm recording, whether it's a standard video at 4K or whether I'm actually doing bullet time. I'm able to now see all of that here on this little screen. Now, one of the big change, of course, is as you can see here is that the lens are now exactly in the same position. And the bigger thing is the size, as far as the distance between the cameras, is a lot smaller on the new X versus the original one. So before, on the first generation Insta360, it just has an internal battery that you have to continuously charge via micro USB. But here, just like an action camera, you're able to now swap out or have multiple batteries and not be dependent on charging it only through the USB. Now here at the top, we have one of the cameras. In the middle, we have your screen to let you know what resolution you're on, what frame rate you're on, and the ability to see exactly if you want to make some changes. Here, we also have the record button, and then we also have the menu select button. Now this might be a smaller detail, but with the first gen Insta360, we had this plastic holder here, which I thought was kind of cool because you're able to then just post this up just like that, or put your phone here. But this thing just in general was kind of big. So if you were to throw this in your pocket, now you have this kind of big bulgy thing in your pocket, which that's just kind of weird now. But now Insta360X, it's a lot thinner, so you're able to toss this, and what they give you is a sleeve to put it in, and it also has like a lanyard, so you're able to put it around your neck if you wanted to. But this sleeve is really nice, and it keeps everything really slim, so you're just able to put it through here just to protect the lens itself, and you're able to transport this a little bit easier now. Toss this in your bag or your pocket. This might not be new to some of the people who have already had a 360 camera or have done a little bit of research on it, but Insta360, I think, to me, was one of the first ones that introduced what they're calling the invisible stick. And all that really means is when you're able to put your camera on something like a selfie pole like this is actually the Insta360 one, but the way the camera is positioned and the way that their software is designed to edit and stitch the photos together and stitch the videos together is that when you do hold this up, you're not able to see the actual stick in the video itself. Now, the reason why I didn't really put too much emphasis on 360 before is because I also felt the software wasn't really up to date to handle it, as well as the stabilization just wasn't there yet. Another big reason, of course, too, is stabilization. Now, a lot of cameras, especially if you guys have been watching recently, action cameras have taken image stabilization, especially in-body image stabilization, to another level where everyone's talking about it being gimbal-like. Now the way you're able to process this, and I was actually doing a few tests running around with my kids at a playground, as well as running straight lines and just seeing how much wobble, how much shake is in this thing. I hooked up a GoPro to it just to show you how much wobble was happening. And even in my car, putting this outside of the roof and then showing you how much shake is happening in the wind, but yet the footage itself was super stable. Of course, that has to deal with the in-body stabilization as well as the software with the flow state stabilization. So it is very gimbal-like, I would say, but man, it's definitely come a long way where you have something this small and the footage you're getting out of it is so smooth. And another thing, in their software, there's a thing that they're calling now time shift, where you're able to slow down and ramp up real fast, up to 16 times your speed. Now, when I did that on the freeway, I mean, and this camera was outside of the car, I mean, the wind was kicking on it so hard, and it was pretty much going like this the whole time. You know, using it with my kids is a big deal, and also using it for something like this where I'm able to get a really, really stable hyperlapse. Now, of course, they brought over bullet time, which was introduced on Insta360 ONE, and this one shoots in 3K resolution at 100 frames a second. Here I am setting up to use the bullet time, so I want to make sure I have enough room around me. I was using the selfie stick as well as the handle to do the 360, but I really wanted to use the drone, so I wanted to try something different. So here I am using a 360 cam, doing the bullet time 360, and then doing a 360 orbit around me at the same time with the DJI Mavic 2. Here's the footage straight out of camera of the bullet time effect using the Insta360 OneX. Now, when it comes to viewing and editing your footage, you're of course able to do that through your iOS or Android device. They have their own app that's made for your phone, but the cool thing about some of the new features in the app is that you're able to take multiple clips and edit those together, as well as you're able to use not only the cables to transfer everything over, but you're also able to use what they have now is an enhanced Wi-Fi to make that connection and download videos from the camera straight to your phone. And one of the new features is Hdr Shooting, as well as you're able to shoot RAW. So you're able to take control of your photo by changing ISO, shutter speed, exposure, all of those things on the fly. So as you guys know, of course, I'm more of a drone focused channel. And if you guys watch my previous videos when I'm talking about accessories, I was able to throw the Insta360 ONE on my drone, fly it around with no issues. Here's a little funny story about trying to toss the Insta360 OneX on my drone. Pick it up. Like it should pick up the...
So you were thinking it's interference?
It is.
It is. There's interference. I think it's too close.
All right, come here, check this out.
Well, folks, that's another.
There you go. So, I wanted to fly with my drone, but let me take a screenshot of it actually. Hold on. Check this out. With the Insta360 on the drone, it's blocking satellite positioning. Even walking up and down, I was only able to get 3, maybe 4 satellites. And I'm trying to screen capture this, so I'll put it on top. But once I remove it, there it is. Once I remove it, instantly 15, 16, 17 satellites. I did not have this issue with Insta360 ONE, so I don't know what it is with this one, but let's okay.
Dark, yeah.
15 satellites. I'll put this back on. Okay, back on. And now instantly GPS satellites are off. There you go, I have 4. So it goes between 3, 4, and 5. So there's something happening that's giving me interference with GPS. So I'm not able to get a GPS lock, even if I walk around with it. But and because of that, I'm not gonna fly it. Unless I don't want to have my drone or my camera back. So that was a fun test. Let's pack it up. Now, the one thing that's great about this camera is that it really is what they say it's supposed to do, and that is really shoot first and point later, which means you could pretty much just have this thing filming, and all you have to do is then go into post-production later, and you can move that footage around and record whatever you want to record and save that clip out. So you don't even have to worry about pointing this any which way. It records everything. The stitching looks really solid, and the quality of this thing is pretty good in bright daylight. I'm not going to go into too much detail as far as testing it in low light at this point. I will probably do that in future videos, but overall I feel like this thing can live in my bag, and now it can be a standalone camera because I'm able to change settings right on the fly. Just like every camera, I think there's definitely some improvements that can happen in the future versions of this 360 camera. The first thing that comes to mind is I really wish that the buttons were recessed, because every time I would put this away or put it in my sleeve, I would accidentally always hit one of the buttons. The next thing you know, I'm either recording or it's pulling up the menu system. So just having these buttons recessed, I think would prevent some of those issues I was having, that every time I would grab this camera or put it away, I would always end up hitting something, and next thing you know, it's on or it's recording. Also, another improvement I think they could work on is just the brightness of the screen. Now, in bright daylight, this screen is very, very difficult to see. Every time I was shooting with it, I'd have to pretty much kind of cover to make sure and see exactly what my settings were. So the brightness of the screen, really, I think they might be able to improve on. That way, you're able to look at this thing in bright daylight a little bit easier to see exactly what your settings are, and just to confirm that you are recording. So the brightness of the screen and the contrast of it, I think they may be able to improve that just a little bit more. Now, overall, I am super impressed with this camera, and it really hits on some of those key features that I was talking about. Stabilization, that hyper speed stabilization is unreal with that time shift. And I think the biggest thing is being able to now just point it anywhere and shooting, and then know that I can not only processing really quickly on my phone, but export out a little video that I'm able to use and not have to worry about, did I get the shot? Because you're pretty much always going to get the shot with this type of camera. It's just a matter of you going back into the footage and repositioning the footage to make sure that you're actually pointing it at the specific subject you're trying to shoot. Now, of course, as always, guys, if you guys got some value from my video, please don't forget to smash that like button, and also don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos. This is Hdr Anastasio with FlytPath.com. I'll see you guys next video. Take care.